It's getting to that season of award buzz in the entertainment industry, and this next film already has an Emmy-winning director. Mayor Pete brings viewers inside Pete Buttigieg's campaign to be the youngest president of the United States, providing an unprecedented intimacy with the candidate, his husband Chasten, and their ambitious team. I caught up with director Jesse Moss to hear more about it. Jesse, congratulations on your newest documentary, Mayor Pete. I gotta ask, why Pete Buttigieg? Why was this person, his life, the focus that you wanted to make for this film?
I was fascinated to see what it's like to run for president from the inside. This isn't really a documentary that I've seen before. Pete was willing to give us access when we started the project. He had a staff of 4. He was a real outside long shot candidate, but he was willing to let us in, and we thought, well, maybe this guy's going to go somewhere. He's pretty interesting, pretty promising, and I think we bet right.
I would think so. And you got such incredible access from Pete, from his campaign, from his husband Chasten. Was that a fight, or was he kind of open to all of this?
I think the stakes were low when Pete signed on to this project. As I said, he was a staff of 4, so
right.
He probably didn't even think he was going to go very far. I think what's more extraordinary is that he remained committed to the access even when his campaign took off like a rocket ship. And we continued to have access to him and his relationship with Chasten, debate preparation, meetings with senior advisors. You really see every aspect of the campaign from the inside, which is a fascinating perspective.
Yeah, what, as a director and the producer of this film, I mean, you know he's an interesting man, right? And he's running for president. That's incredible. But like you said, who knew where this campaign was going to go? So at least you knew you had an interesting person, but you got this incredible story along the way.
I knew Pete was a rising star in the Democratic Party, but a 37-year-old gay mayor from South Bend, Indiana doesn't seem like presidential material. On the other hand, if anything has been proven out with the election of Trump and before that Obama, anything's possible in presidential politics. So why not Pete? We thought there was a slim chance, but I love taking a risk as a filmmaker. And I think that we know Pete's landed on the national stage in a big way. So despite the outcome, he loses. Shocker, spoiler. But I think that the journey tells us a lot about who he is and where we are as a country and the future of the Democratic Party. Those are big questions, and I think the film provokes a really interesting conversation about that. Not to mention, this is a gay man and a relationship. This is history making and path breaking, and I think it's a chance to see him and sort of see what it's like to suddenly take on this role and responsibility on the political stage.
Yeah, and your film starts, what, about a year out from the Iowa caucuses, right? Which is really when he blew up. And then it takes us to how far? Like, where are we going with this journey?
Really from the beginning. I mean, he had not yet officially announced that he was running for president when we started the project, but he did have an office. And we follow the story through dropping out. So about a year, and then the final shoot with him in Washington, where he's moved to start his new life as Secretary of Transportation. So it's really the full arc of his journey through the campaign. It's a kind of coming of age story. I think you see him changed, you see him tested, you see his relationship with Chasten tested, and also how resilient that is. I mean, it's a really remarkable portrait of their marriage. I think the film is a kind of love story as well as a political story.
Jesse, congrats to you. Thank you so much for bringing this film to us.
Thank you.
It was a historical presidential race that we all witnessed, and then a really unprecedented inside look at this campaign is Mayor Pete. It really is just so fascinating. You can catch Mayor Pete on Amazon Prime Video starting on November 12th. It is a must watch.